Amid the hustle and bustle of an international airport that never really sleeps, the two figures who immediately catch the attention of anyone who sees them step out of the black car are Park Jimin and Jimin Jungkook. Without an official announcement, without a large cortege, the two arrived in a simple style but still exuding the aura of world stars. The airport lights were gently bouncing in their hair, small suitcases were casually pulled out, and small smiles were etched on each other's faces, as if this trip to Japan was not just a work agenda, but a small moment to breathe in the middle of a busy schedule. Jimin walked slightly ahead, wearing a gray hoodie with a hat pulled low, while Jungkook followed him, while carrying a black backpack on one shoulder. Despite trying to appear ordinary, their body language still invites a sense of warmth. Jimin occasionally looked back to make sure Jungkook wasn't left behind, and Jungkook replied with a small nod and a barely noticeable smile. The simple interaction felt so natural, as if they were not two global idols, but two friends who were about to board a plane for a short vacation. Upon entering the check-in area, Jungkook took over the task of pushing Jimin's luggage trolley without being asked. Jimin protests quietly, saying that he can do it himself, but Jungkook just laughs and replies, "Let me do it. You always think too much." Jimin chuckled a little, but let it go. The light conversation just flowed, full of familiar tones that made anyone who happened to be near them smile along. At the check-in line, Jimin opens his phone and shows Jungkook something, maybe a photo, maybe a message. Jungkook leaned over slightly to be able to look at the screen, then laughed quietly. "Why are you still keeping that?" he asked. Jimin defends himself, saying that it's important memories. Jungkook shook his head, calling Jimin too sentimental. But his tone was soft, far from mockery. After the baggage business was over, they walked towards the security check. Jungkook reflexively tidied up Jimin's hoodie that was slightly stuck in the backpack. Jimin looked at him for a moment, then said thank you. Jungkook replied briefly, "Habit." The word sounds light, but its meaning is felt deep. The habit of taking care of each other. Even in small things did I end the departure lounge. The two sat side by side on chairs by a large window overlooking the runway. Huge planes were seen moving slowly in the distance, their lights flickering under the sky that began to change color. Jimin leaned his head against the back of the chair and let out a long sigh. "Finally," he muttered. Jungkook turned around and asked what he meant. Jimin replied that he just felt relieved to be briefly away from all the crowds. Jungkook nodded, saying that he felt the same way. They began to discuss plans upon arrival in Japan. Jimin enthusiastically mentions wanting to eat ramen at the small shop they went to years ago. Jungkook remembers, chuckling, saying that Jimin almost cried because the soup was too spicy. Jimin defended himself, calling it an emotional moment, not caustic. Jungkook teased her mercilessly, and Jimin just hit Jungkook's arm softly. Their conversation then turned to music and personal projects. Jungkook told me about the song he was working on, about the melody that had been ringing in his head since last night. Jimin listened seriously, occasionally nodding and giving sharp but supportive comments. He said that Jungkook's voice has always had the power to touch people. Jungkook looked a little embarrassed, lowering his head with a small smile. When the boarding announcement sounded, Jungkook stood up first and reached out to Jimin. Jimin stared at the hand for a moment, then grabbed it without hesitation. The simple gesture was not intended for the public, but for anyone who noticed, it was clear how strong the bond between them was. They walked towards a gate with calm steps, shoulders almost touching, sharing a private space that felt safe. "I end the hallway to the plane." Jimin said quietly that he felt nervous. Jungkook turned his head, a little surprised, asking why. Jimin replied that every trip always made him feel mixed between excited and anxious. Jungkook smiles, saying that as long as they are together, everything will be fine. Jimin nodded, and the tension on his face eased slightly. Upon entering the aircraft cabin, they found their seats side by side. Jungkook automatically put Jimin's bag in the upper compartment. Jimin thanked him, then sat down and unbuckled his seatbelt. Jungkook sat down next to him, turned his head, and asked if Jimin was comfortable. Jimin nodded, saying that he always felt comfortable sitting next to Jungkook. As the plane began to move away from the gate, Jimin stared out the window, his eyes following the lines of the runway lights. Jungkook watched her for a moment, then said that the sight always made him feel like he was starting something new. Jimin smiled, saying that he liked the way Jungkook always found meaning in simple things. In the air, when the cabin lights were dimmed, they spoke in a low voice. Jimin revealed that lately he feels tired, not only physically, but also mentally. Jungkook listened without interrupting, his eyes attentive. He then said that it's okay to feel tired, that they don't have to be strong all the time. Jimin looked at her for a long time, then said thank you for always understanding. The cabin crew offers refreshments. Jungkook ordered coffee. Jimin chose warm tea. Jungkook took the sugar for Jimin without being asked. Jimin chuckled, saying that Jungkook knew his habits too well. Jungkook shrugged, saying that it wasn't a big deal. But for Jimin, that little attention felt meaningful. They then share earphones, listening to the same song from Jungkook's phone. Jimin hummed softly following the melody. Jungkook closed his eyes for a moment, enjoying the moment. Their shoulders touched, and no one pulled away. In the midst of a world that always demands more, that little moment feels like an oasis. A few hours later, Jimin fell asleep with his head against Jungkook's shoulder. Jungkook didn't move, afraid to wake him up. He opened his phone and photographed their faint reflections in the plane window, then saved them without uploading anywhere. Deep down, he thought that not all beautiful moments should be shared with the world. When the announcement that the plane was about to land in Japan sounded, Jimin woke up slowly. He looked a little confused, then smiled when he realized where he was. Jungkook looked at her, asking if she was sleeping well. Jimin nodded, saying that he was dreaming about their old days. Jungkook chuckled, saying that it sounded fu and as soon as the plane's wheels touched the runway, Jimin clapped a small, spontaneous hand. Jungkook teases her, calling her too enthusiastic. Jimin replied that he was just happy to finally arrive. They stood with other passengers, took their belongings, and prepared to get out of the plane. As the plane door opened and Japanese air slipped in, Jimin took a deep breath. "It smells different," he said. Jungkook laughed, saying that it smelled like a new adventure. They step out side by side. The camera may already be waiting out there, but for those first few seconds, the world feels quiet and just the two of them. For anyone who saw them that day, it was clear that Jimin and Jungkook's trip to Japan was not just a change of location or a work agenda. It was a small slice of their lives rarely seen in public. Two best friends who take care of each other, strengthen each other, and find comfort in each other amid the pressures of the entertainment world. And between their steps toward the airport exit, there's a silent promise that whatever lies ahead, they'll face it together.